No problem.
Good evening, Super League fans and managers. It's game week 2, and we're ready for some Super League action. Welcome to the people in the chat already. I'm trying to do this streaming thing again, which is more difficult than what I remembered, it seems. Uh, just give us one second here. Aha, here we go. Okay, excellent. Now I can actually see the chat as well. Evening, Tato. Evening, Ian Edwards. Joining me in the studio tonight is Stephen Wright. Good evening, Stephen. Welcome.
Uh, Good evening, Martin. Shades back to my first ever game in the league, season 7, when I joined you on comms for that evening.
Oh gosh, do you remember what year that was? It's gotta,
Oof.
it's it's gotta be
Long while ago.
gotta be going back a little bit. Yeah, I seen that. Seen that now that I got control of the account again and all of this, and I can see my address was still home address is still associated with the Super League account and everything, but I think it was during COVID, so it was a while ago anyway. Right, I can see Dimple is here, Mike is here, Mega Horse is here. Hope everyone is enjoying. I have two chat windows open. I don't know why. I can't really. Oh, yeah. Anyway, sent from my iPhone, says Ross from Stackington. Good, good, good. Anyway, let's get into the actual action. What do you make of the start that you've made to the season? We've got the competition here. If we just bring up the results from last week, 2-2 with Los Santos. There was a bit of drama there at the end. How did you find your first game of season 16?
Yeah, I mean, well, looking at it, I mean, obviously when you score in 81st minute to equalise or even lose it from that point, it's disappointing. But when you look at match stats, they were a little bit ahead of us, did a little bit better than us. So, can't really grumble. And you take a point, any point away from home in this league's massive. So just see where we go again on road tonight.
Yeah, if you don't lose away from home, then you're in a half decent position anyway, or try to limit the away losses anyway. Any of the other results that kind of stood out to you from the first round? I guess that Northern Burn being held to a 2-2 draw. Stackington, people were looking at them, but Vikings under the new manager Paul, that it, it looked as if they were going to get hammered, but they kind of sort of hung on and got back into it. What did you make of the Vikings under the new, not ownership, but under new stewardship?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Paul's new to it. He's fairly newish to the game as well, being he's a 97, 98 man, I believe. Obviously, we're playing against him tonight. Look, you've got a strong squad, and he stood firm in the transfer market, which I admire him for. And yeah, obviously the other couple of results, getting something out of AMR as well. And I mean, more so when you look at that game, Crespo turning up for game 1 at season could be a new thing. But I think going back to results, I think in terms of the big result where Dan back in the league, get turning over the reigning champions.
Yeah, that was, I mean, full chest of people were saying at the beginning of the season that he had work to do and Mac has not left him with like much and it was a bit lopsided or whatever, but he seemed to sort of hit the ground running there and it was obviously a big win for them, picking up 3 points against the Badgers. Tato's always counting the whatever he's counting to 38 or whatever it is, so so
Yeah,
it'll be easy for him round one, nothing to add there,
yeah,
but yeah, I think Dan would have been very happy with that, very happy with his performance there.
yeah, and I think one other result to look at as well. Obviously, I know Ian's been a little bit distant from it, dipping his toe in, but I know he's back in the chat and everything. But you know what? I'll go into Aggies. I hate playing against Aggies. That black and blue. It just feels like they're going to score every time they've got ball. Every time I play against them, it's a weird one. It's one of my least favourite games to play. But again, Alf sticking with his narrow and is again a point away from home on the road, and be interesting to see what Sauce can do if he sticks with that tactic this season.
Yeah, I mean, he seems dead set on actually having the club identity and doing the narrow, which I can only take my hat off for. I think it's something I mean, I know it's not necessarily going to bring you a ton of success, but it's certainly something that I think a lot of people would enjoy if they were like kind of creating that whole aura around the club of playing a certain way, doing certain things. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Once it's fine as long as it's going relatively well. If they can be in contention for a playoff, then Alf will definitely stick with it. If they run into 6 defeats on the trot or whatever, who knows? The narrow might go out
Yeah.
the window. We never know. We never know. Right. Let's see what we can start off with tonight. I think if we just it's bringing up Colchester against the Unicorns already. I haven't seen Dan in the chat so far. There was a unicorn there earlier, but I might just give it a quick look and see if we can maybe pick one where we know the managers are here. Master versus apprentice. Oh, Dan is here. Okay, excellent. Well, we
Good
go with
stuff.
that then. Well, um, he did win the first time out, but it didn't seem to have improved the morale in the squad a great deal. What do you what do you make of this one, Steve? I mean, it seems as if there are a few unhappy faces at Colchester.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that stems a lot from the from last season as well. Obviously, he's laying a lot on Beckham, trying to create things from centre midfield. I
Hmm.
understand why, because obviously Dan, when he came in at Gazelles, as you well know, when he came in with you, he got massive numbers out of Sadorf, which I've never seen in the league. Um, but massive for him and Elka being injured, But I think there's the makings of a team. Javier Zanetti did play central on the right, sorry, a 3D MCs for me when I had him at some point when I were toying about with things when we'd already cemented a playoff spot when we got to the final and lost to Agis. But it's a solid side. Vogel, he wasn't very good for us, so he went to Maka at the time, trying to score a few more goals where Constantino come in.
Mm.
I think they've got basis of a decent enough centre half pairing. Uh, if you're playing three DMCs, you've got Michelini who's posted big numbers before. Michael Stewart, he's great on a home save. Nice to see him not in AMC, but it'd be interesting to see if he can carry on. His stats look pretty decent. But yeah, it's a solid side, and Dan knows what he's doing, and it's going to be an interesting game. Is this one?
Yeah. What do you make Beckham in that MC role with the arrow forward? I dabbled in this tulip thing with the three Dutch people, and I played Van der Vaart on the left one, so where Vogel is here, and with the arrow going up as well. And he did really well in like running in between two AMCs, to be honest. I would have expected Beckham to see him on the wing, but do you think playing him there is that something that you would have done, or where would you put Beckham?
He's certainly not right wing for me. He's been proven in league to get assists. He's not somebody I overly rate on the game massively, if I'm overly honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think you're better with some form of. I know Van der Vaart's a midfield left centre, but some form of AMC who's
Mm-hmm.
not a AMC, more of a central midfielder. So maybe a
Right.
Sadorf might work better there with Beckham on the right. But like I said, Dan knows what he's doing. He's beat the reigning champions, and who's anybody to talk about any decisions he makes at this
To
present in
criticize.
time?
Exactly, exactly. Up against the Unicorns, I think their only change from last week is that they brought in. Apologies, I did the squad so long ago, I can't remember what the changes are. So if there's anything that you notice in the chat, then please let me know if I haven't done it. I think I've done all the squads, but it was like before a lot of decorating and barbecuing and drinking, so I've forgotten it. Veron is coming in here. I can see that because he hasn't got a squad number. So he goes into the starting 11. Frank is on his way out, and they put Ravel van der Vaart on the that we were just talking about. He goes on the bench. A strong looking side, the Unicorns here, and they obviously got off to a good start against the Vikings. What do you make of what he's assembled here?
Yeah, it's a good sign. I mean, obviously Alex can be hit and miss. Again, another player who's very good in home save. There's far too many of them, I believe, that they don't transpire into competitive champ manager. But yeah, it's a very good 11. I questioned him playing Yakubu over even Algera, probably with
Mhm.
Keane with the arrow and Algera Central. But then when we did get the save, and I did have a look at him, he looks very good in saves as Yakubu. So I can understand why he's playing him, especially when we're having that RC at side of him, 8 on his first game. He looks very, very good. So you can understand why he's sticking with him. And he's he's got a solid side. Obviously, I made a jokey comment that three DMCs is the meta at the minute in the
Mhm.
Super League. there's always fits and starts of things that are working that people change with. But in the main, it's a very solid team that should be in with a shout of playoffs.
Yeah, well, it's probably what he's aiming for with this squad. He should be anyway, and if you can keep Crespo playing as well. 20 finishing from my DMC is exactly what I want to see. Did he have that, Yakubu? 20 finishing? My goodness, and 20 off the ball as well. He's a monster in this particular iteration. Veron needs a squad number, of course. Your prediction for this one? Can Fulchester repeat what they did against Badgers, or do you think Foss Road are better equipped to get something here at the C-suite? I guess it's still called.
Yeah, uh, I mean, I'm going to be boring first game. I can just see a one apiece here.
No,
Is
so
that the
some
number
kind
13?
of aha, yeah. Oh, sorry, auto assigned. Nah, yeah, but he was it. I didn't assign number 13 at the beginning of the season. Oh, this is going to be an issue. Well, never mind. Right. Well, we'll kick it off, and hopefully he can repay the my love for the number 13. We will see. Um, we've kicked off, and it's Colchester making the slightly better start, having a couple of chances. Barong must be careful. Picked up a yellow already, did he, with that number 13? Oh, that could spell trouble.
Oh,
And Beckham, oh, opening the scoring for Fulchester. Oh, but Crespo, you mentioned him. Oh, and Artega had one ruled out. You mentioned Crespo at the start of the show there. He got the 2 goals in the first game, and he's on the score sheet again, and he continues to look dangerous, I think, as we near half time. It's all Foss Road in the last couple of minutes here for sure. Alex Sambrota, and there is Ortega. Will this one be ruled out? No, it is allowed to stand. And Crespo adding a third. I mean, Veron is for sale. The season is gone. I mean, you're 3-1 up at halftime. I mean, where's the issue here? Um, seems as if Sebastian Frey is up to his old tricks in the Fulchester goal there, with only 3 shots on target. Not really what Dan would have been looking for. Let's have a look at the Fulchester side. Indeed, Seb Frey is having one of the games that I think Maka was a bit frustrated with him. Sebastian Frey, where do you stand on him?
I don't normally like him. I've got him in the Atlantic League, and he was doing very well for me. To be fair, I mean, it's just strange how we talk about Beckham and he scores, we talk about Crespo, he scores. It always seems to happen. I've got this weird thing where if you look at players, click on players, if you mention players, they just seem to do things. It's
Mhm.
weird, even if you haven't got control of the game. Yeah, you just struggle to see Fulchester coming back from here with how dangerous Foss Road are looking.
Yeah, I mean, Sambrota already with 2 assists, Ortega with 1 and a goal. I mean, they're queuing up for man of the match awards here. Chapman Dan says play on. Verong off for Van der Vaart for Foss Road. We can do that. There we go.
Hmm.
I think that's going to be it. We'll roll to 60 and we'll see if there's any other changes to be made at that point. Let's see if Fulchester can find a way back into this. It's looking a little bit tricky at the moment. Sambrota, another player that really can deliver. Oh, that was a big flash in time there. And just as we say that, Vogel makes it 2-3. Fulchester somehow back in it. If we look at the numbers here, it doesn't look as if anyone's doing anything really, but Vogel's just pulled one back. They're only a goal down now. Danielson is not looking great. He says Edilson for Horace, so we can do that.
Yeah,
And
big favourite of Dan's Adilson, and he's somebody I've seen in the game a fair few times and never really paid attention to until Dan brought him in at Gazelles. And then when you look back into Super League, he has been in Super League in prior iterations as well and done okay. Very good player, obviously very underrated, and I think I think he's a good call. That I'm not a massive Torres fan myself, to be fair.
yeah, I think he had some good games for I think Hodgie had
Bostock,
him. Didn't Hodgie have him with Morientes and Torres, and I think he had another one. I
yeah,
think he scored a couple of goals then, but it's not regularly someone that we see a lot from. Dealson scored a few for Sloss. We'll see if Foss Road wants to change anything here. 8s and 9s across the board, pretty much. Van der Vaart on a 7, same as Barong was on. Hofland with a 7 as well. I'm just waiting for confirmation from the whichever account he's on at the moment. Small horse,
Hmm.
if he wants to do anything. Um, Condition, indeed, you can see the condition. Apologies, they are all doing very well.
Yeah.
You think it was you think Fulchester's got another goal in them? I mean, it seemed a little bit of a fluke if you look at the ratings.
Um, yeah. I mean, they've obviously still got a bit of improving to do, haven't they? I don't know. Sometimes it's one of these. Sometimes, especially in this league, you feel like you're getting back into it as well, and a sucker punch and another goal comes the other way as well. Um, but I think more than anything, I think after letting Clivert go, and he were thinking of letting him go, then not Crespo falling to at the
Mhm.
minute. It's massive for Foster Road.
Let's play the last 20 minutes and see how it goes. 10 minutes now left to play. Edilson's name popped up. Beckham again. Beckham into Edilson, and Nick Matulin is providing a great last line of defense for Foss Road at the moment, as Fulchester really came forward in the last 10 minutes, but it wasn't to be. Foss Road hang on, and the first half performance of Sepp Frey unfortunately cost Fulchester in the end. They did dominate the second half for sure. I think Foss Road didn't have
Yeah,
a single shot.
yeah. Good performance. I think there's still plenty to take out of that from Dan. Again, he was at home. He's been at home 2 games in a row now, and he's now got to try and take a bit of something away from home. He's got to be happy with the way they've come back, showing a bit of fight. So plenty of work with. And again, with 2 games in, there's nothing to start worrying about as yet.
Yeah, an
Michael
assist for
Stewart with an 8 as well.
yeah, Danielson with an assist there as well, so not bad at all. And as Dan mentioned, there was a terrible 2 minutes just before halftime that really kind of cost them. If we look at Foss Road, um, taking off or take a Tato says that after he took Verong off, it went terrible, which it kind of did. Terrible is maybe a strong word, but that certainly seemed to have had an impact. So, but I guess I mean that's 2 away games and 6 points for Foss Road. It's
Yeah,
that's the start you want, isn't
shows.
it?
Yeah, it shows what people have been saying, that they can be a serious threat. And as much as he claims that he don't care too much, he did the right things in the transfer market, and they should be genuinely be right up there.
Yeah, impressive from Crespo. Early the top scorer chart leading performances from him. We will go on with Los Santos Kings against Sancte. So we have 2 of the 3 picks, I presume, originals. Hopkins against Duggan here. He's another one who's got some unhappy players. Uh, do you think? What do you make of the Los Santos squad? I mean, they've got Maldini at defense. I mean, they look as if they have a lot of like quite good players. Pizarro should be getting goals. Nedved, Kalatsi, Lizarazu, Sauri. It's not as if they have players that can't play. They just, for some reason, just struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I just think they've got a good 11 in the main. I just don't think they've got too much behind it. Lacking a little bit in AMC for me. Ebisan for me is a striker, not a,
Mm-mm.
and he's one of them that's NFC who's not a, because he's just a big lump. That's it. Big makings of a good 11. Maldini, he's still, for me, he still can. Bear in mind it was season 10 when he played centre half for us when we won
Mm.
it. So. Um, I think in the main, it's about keeping everybody fit. And Nedved got 2 assists, I believe, against us. Every time I was testing that first game, um, after we got the no manager save, regardless of how I set him up, he was firing with Nedved, no matter how many different ways I set Los Santos up as well. So maybe it just might be one of them seasons where he does actually turn up, and it's solid 11. And if they stick to something, I'm sure they might pick a few results up. And again, they've got enough players in there that have been successful in the league prior to
Sure.
know that they can maybe challenge a little bit again.
Sure, they should have a couple of guys in there that can deliver. They're up against another side that has been touted as potential favorites or very ambitious anyway. Um, Duggan's Sancte side back. as big name in there. His captain, he's got Montella, he's got Mpensa that he brought in from Sloss, where he wasn't really firing. He's got Ambrosini, solid DMC. Totti's come in as well. He's starting tonight. Uh, Sante's chances, I mean, they were, I won't say unlucky, but they had a tough game against the East Coast in the playoffs last season. Do you think they're in with a better shout this season, or it's going to be there or thereabouts again for Duggan and the boys?
Uh, I mean, yeah, definitely. They've got the players in there to score a hell of a lot of goals. Um, we've seen this tactic obviously when Ian won it in season 11. This tactic has won it, and can win it. George House were very good for Duggan last season. I were a little bit surprised he let Steve Finnan go. We're bringing Duff in. Duff was great last season for Ian at Burn, but that was from DMR, not on MR. But again,
Mm,
Duff did it for Haggis on right wing as well. Yeah, it's one of them that if they fire, they're really going to hand some idings out. If it
mm.
goes wrong, they could be on back end of a couple of pretty bad results as well. But it's one of them flip it coins, try and entertain a bit, and I understand why Duggan's done what he's done. And everybody loves a bit of Totti, regardless of how much he can be passive, as we've seen over the
Yeah, I
years.
mean, it's been not really been a game changer over the years in Super League, but obviously you gotta love to have him in there. Larson, Argel at the back, maybe a little bit like the kind of weakest spots. I mean, I think we spoke about it
He's been
already,
great.
maybe in the previous show that Larson often gets like Defender of the Month or whatever on home saves, but in the Super League, has he been there or thereabouts? I'm not sure, but we will see. So you said about flipping the coin. Where's it going to land tonight? Sancte or Los Santos? Who's going to take the 3 points? Do you think?
Yeah, I probably fancy a 2-0 Saints here.
All right. Well, we'll kick it off and we'll see how it goes. Uh, Good early start for Los Santos. Pizarro getting involved there early on. He could be he will be a key man from them. Nedved, as you said, might have been given something over the summer holidays, a bit of a boost there. He's
I'm going to stop talking about players now.
Yeah, that's
It's not
probably
fair.
good. Unless you want them to do well. I don't know. You'll have to talk up a lot of your own ones. Let's see if Sancti can find a way back into this. It's been quite eventful first half so far. Chances at both ends, but still no one has managed to go as close as Nedved did with that opening goal after just 2 minutes. Yellow card there for Sancti, I believe it was. Touch involved again, but picking up a yellow, not the debut he was hoping for Sancte. So a tight affair. Los Santos just about edging it in the first half. Let's see the numbers. It's Sauri there who's leading the line with a 9 and everything else on a 0, 90 odd percent fitness. So nothing to worry about. Not sure if Jamie's here, but if he is, then he got the stuff there. Not great from Sancte. First half, they've not really not really done a lot. Emil Pence has been a little bit maybe unlucky. Had 2 shots on target, both saved. Um, Plenty to think about for Duggan. I don't know if he's going to do anything already, but what do you make of Sancte? What can they do to get back into this?
Yeah, I
Should
mean,
he
I
do
think
something now or wait till 60?
no, I think he'll roll with it. He set his out on playing this way. I think when you've geared up all your business to play a certain way, you've got to roll with it. I think the yellow cards probably pulled Martin Larsson down to a 7, and yeah, I mean that's not a bad call. That putting Owen into AMC because the way he plays and the pace he's got, he can do it.
Mhm.
The thing is that if they're only ever a goal behind, as we were saying beforehand, they've got goals in them. It's just a case of them clicking. Yes, they're going to be susceptible to conceding, but it's just about them finding the feet and attacking themselves.
We'll see. The two striker formation has obviously got its fans and its not so much fans, but and in Pensa the same. Does he work alone or in two? We'll see. We'll kick off the second half. We'll run till 60, and we'll see if it makes a change to put Owen on or if Los Santos can hold on to this. No one has really taken clear control of the game so far. Here we are, that just skipped over a little bit. We have a look at Sancte first, so that Duggan can see what his options are. We'll just do the condition quickly. Everyone in very good shape. Touch it down to 83, but apart from that, everyone is doing fine. So you can let us know, Duggan, if there's anything you would like to to change. And in the meantime, we have a quick look at Los Santos and just show the condition as well. Everyone is doing perfectly well and playing okay. So I guess that even if Jamie was here, he would probably still roll with that. Loads of yellows, Galados for Duff. We take that. And I think that's going to be it. Sancte with an
It looks like
equalizer. What do you think the chances are?
uh, yeah, I still think that. I think as Douglas mentioned, a lot of yellows, every bit as much as liable for a red as well.
Oh, we'll see. 25 to play. Michael Owen and Totti involved there. Then 10 minutes skip by with nothing really happening. Sancte with a couple of chances. Totti has had a chance. And Pence's had a chance. Neither of them have been able to find the back of the net. But here is a
Hmm.
penalty. It's Jagatos who takes it. And just before the end, Sancte pulls one, well, equalizes rather than pull one back, actually. Can they find a winner? They are pushing, but no. Oh, well, they certainly did their best. You saw them coming back, but and they got one deserved, I think. Um, but yeah, exciting stuff for Sancti there at the end.
Yeah, good. Good performance. Zauri dropped from 9 to an 8, still got in the match, but fair few more eights. I think that after after that after that spell at 60, well, whatever it was, 64, when it actually finally managed to stop. Josette House, underrated, very good penalty taker as well. If you leave him, but yeah, I think it's again away from home, another point, plenty to build on, um, and I'm sure he'll go into some other games a bit more confident.
Yeah, good result, good comeback there for them. Los Santos again with a tight game with late goals. So, but Jamie seemed relatively confident and happy with his squad, and they performed quite well as you mentioned there. Ebisand is, yeah, maybe not the best AMC, but if he does some changes there, then we can maybe see something a little bit better in that position. Dudley Hill will be saving for later, so we'll jump straight to the top. I've seen Alphas here, so we'll go with Stanley against Sloths because why not? Um, it it gets narrower and narrower for sloths. What do you make of the tactic here? Brugink is in the center now. Mackay with Keane, everyone with arrows going forward. Rui Costa at central midfield. I mean, it's an attacking lineup. You can't argue with that, can you?
No, definitely, and we've seen Al not with the three, obviously in his old stacking it in days when he got to final. Was it stacking it and got to final? We're playing a two striker, two AMCs, both with the arrows in. It's something that's done that's worked for him. Obviously, two former Dudley AMCs, three former Dudley AMCs, should I add.
Mm,
And then you've obviously got your Carlos Gamara as well. So it might not bode too well for him where we were last season as well. But lot of attacking talent. You just worry slightly with like I was saying about a lot of people are playing wider, a lot of people are playing wingers. But if they consolidate up, I just feel a little bit. Manuel Petit, very good player. Lot of history in the league. Did well at Locomotive Boston. Really good player. Raymer, not somebody I'm a massive fan of, even on home save. If he could strengthen that right DMC a little bit, I think he's got makings of a side that can trouble a lot of people. Maybe not say they're gonna qualify for playoffs, especially with somebody like Kesman up front. But there's there's definitely scope there to put some bumps in road for people who are expected to be up there for definite.
That's one of his. I think that's one of his objectives. Really, is just to upset the apple cart or whatever. To kind of just throw a bit of a spanner in the works for some people and get a few results here. And as you mentioned, he's still got Stam and Ronnie Johnson to come back. And Ronnie Johnson was one of the best players in the Super League last season, in terms of average ratings anyway. So we'll see how it goes for them. They're up against Stanley, who have uh, made a couple of changes. I think Scally moved into um, press on last match if I want, but I think Scally moved into a central midfield role. I can't remember exactly what the other changes were, but again, a relatively strong side, and he had a good season last season. but with Stanley did Mike. Ronaldo and Sigalko up front. Do you expect that to work throughout the season, or do you think he's gonna eventually revert to playing one on top?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think when I first joined, I had Ronaldo. I got Ronaldo from Rob actually at Sloss because he brought Joe Palmer in, and they give me Gallardo and Ronaldo for Martin Palermo. Everyone was saying at that point that Ronaldo were the best Ronaldo they've seen in league. I think this Ronaldo surpasses that. It looks very good. He did very well at Fulchester for Macca. Yeah, strong side. Sergei Semak, I'm a massive fan of. If I'm honest, I really like him. Uh, great DM line. Whether Scally's, I know you're not the biggest fan of him, but whether Scally's back there or Zanoni. But yeah, it's great to see how Mike's grown into the league. He came in, made a few transfers, buying favourites like everybody does when you first join. But again, held his fort and then started getting to grips with the league, getting to know players that play in the league, and now he's got a very strong squad. Who, again, if history's be told, I think he looks a little bit stronger than he did last season as well. Another one should be challenging for six.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really argue with Scally's performances. I don't like him as a player in general, but you can't really argue with his performances. He's definitely someone who's done it in the Super League, Nicky Butt, as well as done well Sinoni. So he has got interesting contrast. Yeah, he has like a large number of relatively defensive players compared to the attacking lineup from Sloth. So we'll see how that actually turns out here. I don't think there's any restrictions on that one. He can have number 15. Proceed to the match. Yes, indeed, we will. Sloths in their lovely away kit. What do you think the arrow is going to work, or you think Stanley will have too much for them on the night?
Just fancy a tight 1-0 Stanley. Yeah.
We'll have a look and see how that goes. It was good work from both sides in the first 15 minutes, but none of them able to score. But I think there were chances at both ends for sure. Shearer's been up there. Alan Shearer. It's not a. I think he scored in the opener, didn't he? So
He did.
not a name you see a lot of in the Super League. Oh, penalty turned down. Penalty claim for Sloth turned down there right before halftime, or a few minutes before halftime. We're obviously still playing. Tsigalko, wasn't to be. It's a bit of a hard sell, to be honest.
Yeah.
The Stanley don't really have a lot of attackers, and Sloths don't really have a lot of defenders, and that kind of seems to sort of even itself out. 7s and 8s across the board. So Um, yeah, not too bad. Fitness-wise, nothing to worry about. Park that bus, says Mike, and that's what he's done. Tariba West on an 8, nothing else really to note for Sloths. I'll leave it for Alf and for Mike confirms as is. Alf, if there's anything you would like to do at the moment, please let me know. If not, we roll till 60. In the meantime, Jens says he's in a bar with a wife, so he's on mute. He's wondering if Martin, since you're in Poland, I'm actually in Scotland now, but I will be back in Poland, could meet up with Shemek and ask what he thinks about Vikings selling all the poles. Well, I think you can see the condition here, Al, unless your screen is not working. But I can go into the other screen if it's the same number, but we can have a look at it there. Um, Actually, I think he's spending some time recovering from losing to a second tier side in the Polish Cup final last week, so he's probably going to be a little bit. But indeed, if he does come to the south of Poland at some point, then I'll make sure to invite him for a pint. Alf says as it will roll to 60. Um, See if we can get a goal in the second half. That would be nice, or a shot on target would also be would also be nice. Uh, that's us up until 60. Everyone still mainly on 6, 7, and 8 on condition. Apologies is obviously a lot easier to see here than on the grayish screen in the other one. I know it's a bit smaller now, the picture with the thing that the overlay that Duggan's made, but hopefully you should be able to see it. So that's the cloth side, and we have a quick look at Stanley as well. Did I press OK? I hope not. Anyway, I'll go back if I did. 8s and 9s, Red Rose are back at the bus parking.
Yeah. I mean, look at him. I mean, it's not surprising that if they're not conceding, both the centre halves and the centre defensive midfielders are performing well. There's a lot of players getting thrown at them, and if they're just dealing with it, um, it's 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 no wonder that the rating's so highly. You just need, but they have got them players that you can just get a little bit of magic from, maybe a little bit of Sigalka magic incoming. But I mean, at this present moment, I think I can't see my 1-0 coming off the way it's panning out. Although, to be fair, I reckon by the time we click on the match stats at the end of the game, I think Stanley have obviously created a bit more. Looking at
Mm.
Liverpool's is 8 there, so
Yeah. Alf makes a couple of changes, Smith for Kesma and Rosicky for Mackay. And we'll see if Mike wants to do anything. Simak for Pinto, that's it, done. Do we have Pinto? We have him. Oh, that was Phil
un-
Neville. We don't want to do that.
under
Um,
underrated, unsung hero last year. João Pinto got some really
yeah.
important goals for Mike.
Ah, I must have missed that. I didn't. I haven't known Joao Pinto to make an impact in the Super League before. Let's see what we can get for the last half hour. If there will be a goal in this somewhere. Robbie Keane is certainly trying, but Westerveld is keeping him out. Oh well, have you got the lottery numbers there as well by any chance there, Steve? It seems as if
Well,
you're very good at assessing the talent tonight. Pinto with a late goal for Stanley. 1-0 victory for them against the Sloths. Parked the bus, did the job, hit them on the counter right towards the end. Alf will be a little bit disappointed, I think, to have been kept out so effectively by that Stanley defense, but I think it's maybe more down to the effectiveness of the Stanley defenders. I don't think there was much anyone could have really done to break them down on the night. What do you make of that defensive display?
yeah, I mean, Wes Brown there, and Ekio just a unbelievable pairing. Obviously, the season we're in, Wes Brown can start coming into his own a bit. Um, and, but you can't, let's say, you can't look past Nicky Butt. He's just yeah, just solid Stanley. You can't break them down, and like I said, they have got maybe a couple of underrated players who can hit you a bit on break when they want to.
Mm. And I mean, we look at the tackles there by Ehiog, by Wes Brown, Candela as well, Nicky Butt, Scally. I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to get through. And if we look at slot stats in comparison, they obviously have Taribo West and a bunch of players that do relatively well as well. But it was just difficult
Yeah,
for them, wasn't it? And when the chances fell, they just weren't able to convert for the unfortunately for them a six, but Brookie
yeah.
Bear is not good.
I mean, I saw I'll say that Marco Rema got a 9 in his last match, but let's be honest. I played John Otaka in 2 games. He's got a 50% goal scoring record in the Super League. Everybody, one swallow don't make a spring summer or whatever it
Oh,
is.
that's it.
Um,
Yeah,
it's yeah, it's
yeah.
one of them. But he still got something away. I say great performance from West.
Hmm, hmm.
Gamara's done very well there. He's obviously done something to pull him down to a 7 as well. They've had to
Yeah.
do a lot of defending themselves, and yeah, again, you can't go away to Stanley if you don't come away without not to really. He's had 2 away games as well. Let's see what they're like when they get back to their home ground.
Yeah, they've got a couple of transfers as well. They've got Johnson to come back, Yab Stam as well. If Tariba West is playing like that, Yab Stam next to him and Ronnie Johnson at DMC, then it's not the worst, I think. It's not the worst. Good, good, good. Stanley with a win there. Next up, we've got Haggis against East Coast. So I've not seen Mr. Campbell around, but I think Dimple was here earlier anyway. We'll have a look first at the East Coast side. As we can see, Shevchenko is on his way out, but he is playing. I hope I have this right. As mentioned, managers in the chat, please, if I've messed something up or done something not right,
No,
then
he's definitely playing. He was never not going to play.
then this is your chance. Um, Bergstrom, of course, is one of the guys that we spoke a lot about. That I have no idea who he really was. Agat on the right hand side, I really liked him actually. I had him in a Celtic save, and he did amazingly well for ages until I brought Kieran Dyer in. So a very strong East Coast side. I guess they're going to be there or thereabouts again this year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bergstrom is one of them on an home save. you pick him up from anywhere between 70 and 100 grand from Narokaping. I've obviously I've not pronounced that right, but he's just one of them like your Barsams, like you run the ones that you pick up really cheap that do really well, and the fact that it's first time he's been in the league and he's transferred it into the league may start whenever there is a sort of reset of it all. You know, maybe think to pull him in a bit. Yeah, I agree with you, Diggity. I got CM Rob once did a German save just when Tato started knocking about, which we won't talk about Tato's save in the German league when I started talking to him about it. But I ended up getting him in, and I even played him at centre half, and he got a big move for about 15 million to Barcelona off the back of it.
Oh,
Yeah, very good player. Again, somebody again who were at Gazelles and did very well. It's a very strong side. Having Gattuso for his first game, obviously I know he were unavailable last time out. Zelios has been an absolute rock for him. Lee Bowyer, I've had him, not got a lot out of him. Everybody else has had him, not really got a lot out of him. Bit of a show pony in this league, personally, I think. But in the main, a very, very good side who again, you won't pass getting back to a third final.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Gattuso certainly, if I mean, he always does exceptionally well, and whenever I've seen him in any kind of like saves that you do outside of the Super League, he always seems to be doing well. So yeah, strong side there. And they're up against Haggis, who didn't have the best start to this season. Steve, you asked if he was available last week, so apparently you've been sniffing around already. I don't know if that was a gap.
Well,
Right.
Uh, no, yeah, it will Lee Bowyer, to be fair. Um, but he's one of them. I'm a sucker for punishment, me, with players. Something that you ain't got out of people before you start playing a formation and players start playing well, and you think, oh, if I had that person back in there at that, could they do something?
Would have done,
It,
yeah.
it messes with your head. It messes with your head, does this
Well,
league?
you take it as a
But
challenge,
yeah,
don't you? You take it as well, no one else got numbers out of
exactly.
Ronaldo. I'll be the one
Totally.
who fucking
Totally. It's
exactly, exactly. Yeah, well, we'll see what the for some reason I think he had who else does he have on the left wing Haggis? He had someone good. He had Kili Gonzalez, but he insists on putting Monterrubio back in. I'm not sure about that, but this is kind of like a Backstrom situation. I'm not sure what Monterrubio is doing in the Super League, but here he is, and he's not doing too badly actually. He's obviously got Kluivert up front that just come in. Van Nistelrooy's there. Um, there's got to be goals in this Haggis side. I mean, it's a tough game against the East Coast, but he's got the makings of a good, at least the front two, and then the rest behind it. I mean, is strong enough, isn't it? Samuel and Cannavaro. You think Haggis are going to do something this season, or they're going to be sort of like sixth to eighth place?
yeah, difficult to say. They could be up there. They could be down in the squalor. It's hard to say. Robert Perez has done great stuff. Monterrubio were on the back of Greavesy, I think, when he were involved
Uh,
before he stepped away again, and he came in and he did very very well.
mhm.
Early doors. I think he got 3 assists on his debut, something silly like that.
Outrageous.
Um,
Well, two
yeah.
maybe,
Oh,
and then
two
none
assists.
since.
That's it. It must have been nonsense after that because he got man of match in a 10 on his debut. I think I remember that. And there were plenty of assists in Petkov as well. There's plenty of creativity about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, again, a team who can probably blow you away. Or that's the centre half pairing is the best centre half pairing in the league,
Sure.
and obviously you've got to build forward from that. So, but if you get past them centre halves, if you've got a strong defensive line yourself,
Hmm.
Monterrubio, Perez, as much as they've done all right, Jax can do all right, but he still don't look to the levels that he was. Um,
Yeah.
Van Nistelrooy and Kluivert now. Uh, is it a bit much asking a bit much for them to completely contribute? Yeah, strange one. Can't call where they are, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, he's obviously had other stuff on his mind as well. So maybe he's just like taken the offer when it came and went, oh yeah, I'll have both of them. Why not? Kluivert and Van Nistelrooy should be good. But
Definitely.
we'll see if you can get it to work. I mean, if you can get, let's say, 15, 18 goals out of between them out in a season, then it's definitely not the worst. I mean, there are no like really 20, 25 goal a season strikers unless you get lucky or Tsigalko's on a mad one or whatever. So, but your prediction for this one before we kick off?
Oh God. Who won Coast?
Let's see what it will be. First 45 coming up. Uh, and it's Kluivert scoring on his debut. Just 7 minutes on the clock, and he's opened the scoring for Haggis, put them 1-0 up. Not sure who got the assist, but Haggis will be pleased with that. Maybe it was Monterrubio. Monterrubio's definitely popped up a couple of times, and yeah, still solid performance. Monterrubio finds Van Nistelrooy, Pires finds Kluivert, Pires again, Petrov, as you mentioned again there, Bartes with a good save for East Coast. And there's Ronaldinho doing something for East Coast, but not enough to get a goal. And I think that was Monterrubio, a devastating cross for Carla Shacks. It's been backwards and forwards, mostly towards the East Coast goal. Let's have a look. I mean, you did say that hackers can blow you away if you get past their line, then maybe not. East Coast haven't gotten past that line, and hackers have kind of blown them away a little bit in the first half.
Yeah, again, it's that they just they have got that. Like I say, I just that black with that blue. I hate seeing it when I'm playing against it. But yeah, Monterrubio is a he were always when I was younger. I not for a long time, but when I was younger, he one of them I used to sign all the time. I really used to love him, so I was really intrigued when he came into the league to see if he could cut it. Yeah, he's had his ups and downs. He finished with a decent average rating, to be fair, and they aren't they aren't overly. He got a 9 and an 8. They haven't overly got out of second gear there.
Yeah. And if you look at East, so Dimple's already made his changes before I pull up the squad. Let's have a quick look and see what he's doing here. He's doing Boya to MC, arrows off the two DMCs, forward arrow on Robin. That's what he's going for. Boya into his more sort of appropriate central midfielder role, and Robin with a forward arrow, trying to put a little bit more pressure on those two very strong central defenders. Smart move from Dimble, you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, you can understand that I played Bowyer at DMC at times when I've had him before. He's right on column leads you to believe he can do that.
Hmm.
He may be more suited today if you ever got into retraining him, etc. But yeah, this is a more nimble tactic as well, and I think they need nearly goal if they're really going to get back into it.
Yeah, early goal in the second half potentially for East Coast. Not seeing Campbell around, so we're gonna roll for them. Uh, let's have a quick look here. This probably needs to go up. Uh, mean, it's Haggis, mainly Haggis again, but East Coast did have one chance there. Gattuso brings down Monterrubio. Monterrubio again with a cross for Kluivert. Somehow I think he did well, but in the beginning of the second half, he somehow dropped to an 8. I'll just show the condition so that Campbell can have a look at that if he watches it back. But not going to do anything. Let's have a look at East Coast. A 5 for Gattuso and a 5 for Backstrom. That's that's unusual. They're just having just an off day, or hackers are just that strong. It's just one of those days, and no matter what you do,
I
it's
mean,
going to end up like that.
I think Gattuso's got that in him a little bit. Uh, he went for a spell, I think, playing for Greavesy, and he was unreal with in centre midfield assists and this that and the other.
Mhm.
I don't think, in terms of his ratings, he's very good and he can be on an home side. But in terms of this level, I don't think he's up there with an elite DMC or an elite CM. I mean, I don't think there's any CM that's elite. Maybe
Mhm.
I always think probably a DMC sat in CM will serve you more right, as Mike
Mhm.
proved earlier. But yeah, it's one to scratch
Yes.
off again. Like I said earlier on, 2 games into the season, and course will be all right.
Yeah, they probably will be all right. I'm sure they will be. Let's see if Boya can do something here. He's moved Salas to the on up front. He's on the left. AMC Ronaldinho moving to the right, and Robin out on the left hand flank. He's got 27 minutes to see if he can turn this around. We kick it off here. It's Monterrubio to Kluivert again. Um, Cannavaro looking very solid at the back. Oh, Kluivert thought he'd closed the game out, but it was disallowed. I think it was for offside. Um, but they look a little bit unstoppable. I'm not gonna lie. Van Nistelrooy there with the goal. Kluivert trying again. There was no way back into this for East Coast, to be honest, or maybe even lucky that it stayed at 3. So not a good night at the office. We go again next week, says Dimple. Indeed, you do. Well, you go again on Sunday actually, but yes, indeed, you go again. Monterrubio, man of the match at 10 and an assist. So much like in his
He must have
debut,
done those dribbles. He must have done loads of dribbles. I think that's. But
Well, we can soon
Perez,
have a look. Oh, four, not the not the most, but
but
yes.
I tell
Anyway.
you what though,
Oh, eight. Ah, that's where it is. Yeah, yeah, indeed. 8 runs or eight successful
tell you what,
dribbles.
to have 1-7 in your side in a performance, you're gonna dominate with the quality of player that's in any team. If any team ends up with 1-7, all eights, a 9 or 2 or a 10, you're gonna come away with a result like that in this league for definite.
Yeah. And the seven is probably only because of the yellow. Otherwise, he'd probably I mean, he's not done that well, but he could have said been sat on an eight and then got the yellow. We'll see if East Coast had anything to put into the notebook. A decent performance for Shevchenko. He's on his way out, obviously, but he signs off with an eight. Apart from that, I think this one will go into the sort of archives, then never to be revisited again. I presume for Dimble. You think he can take anything positive away from this? Doesn't look like it really.
um, I mean, obviously, Shevchenko's knowing his new manager's watching, so he wanted to put a bit on the show. But you've got players there with genuine. Uliano were ace last season for him. Baldini were great first game for him. Elias, he's far better than that. Ronaldinho with a six. You just know there's far much in that team than they've showed tonight. And again, uh, everybody's going to lose games along the way, and they'll be all right, of course.
Yeah, away to Haggis is not the. If you're gonna drop points, then it's maybe one of them that you've kind of not accounted for. But it's not like a giant shock if you drop a couple of points there. So that's how it is. It insists on you, but we've got another couple of games first. We'll go to Rocks. I'm not sure if he's about, but we'll go to Rocks against Stackington. Oh, sorry, Atletico Exiles against Stackington. Um, a lot of fiddling around with the tactics, and due to both Rox and I not being around at the same time, we kind of screwed it up last week. But but it didn't go too badly, and he's got his own tactic here, asymmetrical. As he doesn't seem to be too worried about it, it annoys the hell out of me. But if he likes it, then it's fine. But yeah, this for me is a strong side. I'll be honest. I don't know any of these weird DMCs that he always finds, but he seems to have unrivaled knowledge of DMCs from sort of various Latin American countries, etc. That he brings in. Estrada, I think, is one of them, and then Amantitis sounds Greek, to be honest. Um, Say Roberto on the left-hand side. He's brought in Figo, who I think is a very good winger. Didn't really fit at slots, of course, with the narrow. Milito and Nesta at the back. Milito season two for sure. Season one maybe a bit young. There is the makings of a pretty good squad in here, isn't there? Or for the season, Kutusov is not bad either, but maybe not proven in the Super League.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what Rox has done here. I'm in the boat of you're not going to get what you get as Roberto on the left wing as you do with him at DML. Estrada is very good, but he's just knocking on a bit as you're getting on. Is it River Plate? I think he starts. I think he's at River Plate.
He's probably like
Um,
33 or something
and
now.
and yeah, Charlie, I'm this is Charlie Chaos to him. He knows what he can do. Performed very well when he came into the side last year. But when you've got Tomasi at the side of him as well, shoring it up. Um, yeah, so he plays a lot's resting on Figo, creating things, and I feel like he don't get a massive run all the time with Figo. He's one of them again. He's another one of them players where he doesn't do much, so you want to go with him. Kutuzov, of all the Belarusians, he's probably one of my least favourites. I'm not a big fan of him at all, personally, but a lot of people are because he's got a lot of value in. I think he's 20 for CM, can play AMC, striker, whatever.
Right, right.
But it's a very good team, and they have. If Raul can turn up and Vieira, they, with Zeraberto firing him in for him, yeah, I think people may be underestimating how far they can go this year.
Well, we'll certainly see come the end of the season where they'll be, but a lot resting on Vieri's shoulders for the goals. I personally think. They're up against Stackington, who uh, go like this. Very familiar looking lineup, but I think he swapped. I think Saviola wasn't up front. I think Akahawa maybe comes in and Saviola moves up
Yeah.
front.
He were in AMC with an arrow, I think.
Yeah,
I
I think
believe.
that's it.
I believe.
Um, a strong side that he's managed to assemble here. I think at the beginning of last season, I think not a lot of people fancied the Stackington to do much, but some wheeling and dealing and a few sort of tweaks here and there, and it's got a pretty decent looking side here. I mean, Dacour has done well. I mean, certainly Greaves, you liked him at his championship winning side. I think he was he there for the championship? I can't remember, but he certainly played it for Greavesy in that side. I think you've had him as well, Dacour, at some point, and gotten numbers out of him, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I am. It's been 15 seasons. Can't remember them all.
No, he actually left. He left my team for stacking in. I had an absolute abundance of DMCs, and now I've got very minimal for using them as bait for trying to get more attacking players in. Yeah, I think. I mean, Voigt is a big favourite of Alce's. Voigt, he's got two great win backs. Contra went there with the court, and I can't remember who the other one was. I give him three players just to get Kieran Dyer in to have a go with him. I just feel like centre halves for me are not good enough
Mhm.
personally. Rivaldo can be amazing, can be absolute dog dirt. Saviola in a one, I'm not a fan of, but um, he's gone and drawn with one of the most proven players game week one
Mm.
in the league, and I just feel like you feel like he's got results in him where he's set up. I do like Stilian Petrov more in an MC role as well. Another one who's is a more attacking player as opposed to a DMC.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a solid side. It's
Comandini
just the
was
Savio.
Comandini was the last one.
Yeah,
Contra,
Comodini with the
Decord,
other one.
and Comandini. Yeah, exactly.
Who can't
But
even
as
get up Ben.
yeah,
He was
Rivaldo's got to be another one of
fantastic,
those where there can be
fantastic for us.
Rivaldo can be another one of those where it's like, can you get something out of him? I think a lot of people have tried and not everyone has succeeded, but we'll see if he can do stuff for Stackington tonight. Stackington at home should give them a slight advantage. What do you think? Home win or uh,
I think it's probably one of the toughest ones so far. Is this 2-1 exiles?
2-1 Exiles with the asymmetric formation? Tato is a big fan. Gotta love an asymmetric. Well, you gotta love it indeed. Uh, Good early start for Stackington, but there is Figo coming forward for Exiles. The initiative seems to be switching backwards and forwards. Rivaldo's name's popped up a couple of times and Figo's as well, so there's certainly been chances in this one. Oh, and the Saviola on his own opens the scoring up front. You don't see that often. I mean, but his manager will be very pleased with that decision. If you make a change and it has an immediate impact like that. Oh, Raul, as you mentioned, if he can deliver for Exiles, then there might be something in it for them this season, and he has stepped up and equalized. Vieri with a couple of chances there, but Buffon is stepping up and standing in his way. Yellow card for Milito. Saviola with a good chance again there. Rivaldo was setting him up, and Raul has a go just before the break. Interesting first half. Quite a few quite a few chances, both ends, 4 shots on target each. So probably 11 headers won. That's going to be one of the lowest numbers I've seen for headers won. I don't think Swan is tracking this kind of crap anymore, but that's a low number anyway. But with Saviola in there, it's perhaps not surprising. Buffon still on 100%. Everyone on good fitness. Agahawa on a 5. Rivaldo on a 6. That's for you, Ross, if you are interested in doing anything at halftime.
Yeah,
Not
yeah. His players have won one header all game. Luckily, it was key. Otherwise, it'd be 2.
it's terrible. I mean, if the instructions are to pass the ball along, why are they not passing? Why have they not even had the ball? It's something very strange is going on
Your
there.
centre halves are normally your ones that do all the passing, aren't they? So,
Yeah, I mean
um,
the
uh,
ball's not been in the air much. They've won headers, but they haven't hasn't been that many headers, I guess. Milito on a 5 and a yellow, but Rock's not about, so I don't think changes are incoming from him. Ross, if you want to confirm anything for you, and if not, we'll just roll till 60. Yeah, we'll see. We'll we'll see what happens with those headers, or what happens with the headers in the second half. But very unusual, very unusual. Rivaldo for Del Piero. Oh, this looks like there's lots of stuff going on. Where is Rivaldo? There he is. Rivaldo for Del Piero. Agahawa for Elba. Put up top Del Piero as AMC. So I guess we do musical chairs like this, and that should be it. You think that's going to make a difference for them? Going to make them a little bit more dangerous with Elba up front, maybe win a header or two?
I mean, they've got two two tiny strikers and a tiny AMC coming on. So no, I think that 11% might go down to about 5 by the time in the game come.
Right. Well, we'll have a look at
No offense.
60.
No.
We'll have a look at 60 and see how it goes. If it's made any kind of change to the heading situation. It seems as if Exiles has had slightly the better of the first 15 minutes of the second half. We'll have a quick look at the match stats. It's up to 35% headers
Yeah.
won now, so an immediate impact. Stilian Petrov is, throwing himself about there in the center of the park. Saviola's not winning any headers, but I guess that's not a big surprise for anyone. Again, Ross, if you want to make any other changes here at 60, no changes, thanks. We will roll until the end then, last half hour, and see if Stackington can continue the upwards trend of winning headers and eventually find the winner, or if Exiles will be able to hold on. Figo creating chances, but doesn't seem to have anyone coming on the end of them. Vieri has been up there a couple of times, but not found the back of the net so far. Um, Kutuzov's name pops up again. Now Stackington coming forward here towards the end. See if they can find a winner. Del Piero was in there, but nope, it stays 1-1. Well, they caught up on the headers eventually, so I guess that's one positive that Ross can take away from this. We'll have a quick look at the stats. Christian Burns on a 9, Novotny on an 8.
Bloody hell. Christian Warnes at 60 did not have an header one. Oh, he had one header one.
Mm-hmm.
So which were key, obviously. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the heading jokes aside, you look at the defensive players there come up from nowhere. Obviously, you can see there's been a lot of pressure put on by Exiles, and they've dealt with it, and fair play to them for that.
Yeah, Saviola, I mean, so positives for sure. The defensive lineup seems to be working quite well, and Saviola as a lone striker worked relatively well, certainly in the beginning as well. Got the goal. If we look at the Exile side, I guess Rocks will be fairly happy taking a point away from home, although Christian Vieri not scoring, maybe a little bit disappointing, but overall a reasonable performance all round, 7s and 8s. Nothing really to worry about. A bit low fitness for Figo, but I guess he has done a lot of running, being out there by himself on the right hand side. Raul as well. But yeah, decent
Yeah,
point for Exiles away from home, I think.
yeah, plenty of work again there for Rocks. Obviously, he may have. I mean, would you maybe try Vicente over the Kutuzov? I don't know, because I don't mind Vicente on game.
Mhm.
It's one of them where he's got a couple of his favourites in, which he loves, and I love Rocks for that. Again, he just feels like there's not much behind his 11 in terms of what can come in and change it for him. But they've
Mhm.
created a lot there. Just need Vieira to start sticking ball in there. There's no point having eights if he ain't going to contribute with goals.
No, you're looking at you're looking at your striker, and he's got two key passes and some tackles. I mean, what's that all
Yeah,
about? And headers and all of this is fine. 3 shots all on target. You really need a goal from him. So, but he doesn't need
yeah.
anyone telling him that. He'll figure it out for sure. Um, Penultimate game of of the evening, Booth Town Badgers against Northern Burn. Simeone on his way out is the big story coming out of the Badgers, and he's obviously playing. Rossini is there, Se Roberto is there. I don't remember if he made any changes or if he went as is, to be honest. I forget these things. But anyway, a strong enough looking side, Badgers. They obviously had the uh, the slight unfortunate result at Colchester in the season opener, and they'll be looking to bounce back here. Um, Anything to note about the reigning champions for you for their lineup? I mean, they've got gigs. That's kind of a
I
bit of a cheat code, and then some other
Yeah,
players, I guess.
Giggs fantastic. Mendieta, I know obviously he Simeone's on his way out through me having a conversation with Tato. Um for the player that's coming in for Simeone because he wants Mendieta in that position where Simeone is, to be fair.
Mhm. Mhm.
If he wanted, I know Simeone were unreal last year. I think he finished on 7.92, if I remember rightly.
Mhm.
So obviously not too elite over an 8, but he were a cornerstone of that title win. For me, if you really wanted Mendieta there, I know you've got to put your strongest team on pitch. He's a big fan of Rayad. Why don't you stick Mendieta there and play Rayad on right,
Mhm.
knowing you've got another winger coming in? But yeah, it's a very strong side, and I admire his blind faith, which I had with Nikiforenko, who we've not. The only time, the only time we've seen Nikiforenko be really good in the Super League throughout my time of watching it and then catching up prior were when people were playing forward at back and basically AI tactics, as opposed to when it become a bit more competitive. So, but if I had him, I'd play him every week because he's got it in him somewhere. There
Mhm.
should be no. He's one of them again. He's not top level like that, but you see too many players at a top level and too many players that are legends that still should contribute. There's still plays on the game. It's the same game, and
Yeah.
it's strange.
Yeah,
And yeah, I know he had 9
9 or
contributions.
10 contributions. So, but sometimes it is just that little thing that needs to, I don't know what it is that needs to be done for certain players. There's just one
Yeah,
instruction that maybe is, I mean, if you look at someone like, I was again with the Dutch striker save, I was doing the Hasselbank up by himself on top, and he did nothing, and I had no idea why. And I took run with ball off him, and then he started scoring like for fun. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I did nothing else. Yeah, so who knows? Maybe there's something that needs to get that you can get to switch on
yeah,
Nikiforenko, but we'll see. They're going to be up against Northern Burn. Let's see if we can bring up Northern Burn here, who still has a Dede unhappy. He came in and he just became unhappy, so so he's not playing. Lee Young Kyo is out there on the wing. Stackington away. I'm gonna double check that. Ian will put me right. He might not have made any changes. That might be the reason why it's still the same tactic. Um, Northern Burn title challengers. We always speak about them as being up there. What do you think of them this season?
yeah, definitely. I mean, when you've got the luxury of NDI, CDM, and Vieira, where I like Vieira in CM, to be fair, I really do.
Mhm.
Joe Cole were probably a one that I shouldn't have done, but I wanted to get more from my wing backs, change my formation up a little bit. I think he had about 13 contributions last year from CM, which I doubt many CMs have done over the time of the Super League, to be fair, since it's become a bit more competitive. We'll talk about Nicky Franco scoring 28 goals against 4-4-2s. But yeah, I think his only weakness is Riquelme in that AMC with an
Mhm.
arrow, as if he's an AMFC type player.
Mhm.
Um, I think really that and maybe Inzaghi up top. Um, Personally, I'd roll with Morientes. He's proven more in the
Mhm.
league than Inzaghi is, in my opinion. But again, it's all about opinions, players you like, and who am I
Yeah.
to talk with
Yeah.
a three-time
Well,
star, wasn't it?
1 star to 3, you know what I mean? He's gotta have some weight behind his
Yeah,
decisions there. So, but I think, I mean, I would have thought Riquelme at a central midfielder with a forward arrow maybe would be more to my taste. But I have a very poor record in the Super League, so let's not dwell too much on that. They're always going to be thereabouts. Ian and his Northern Burn side, I guess. Predictions for this one: reigning champions or Northern Burn? That's a tricky one,
yeah, very tricky one. Badgers
right? We'll
being at
see.
home, home, being at home's I think it's going to see him over.
It's gonna edge it for
I
them, right?
think.
Excellent. Nicky Forenko there with a first chance of the game. You've been talking him up now. Maybe he will turn up as well. Um, lots of pressure from Badgers, piling it on against Northern Burn here. I think they've had 3 or 4 shots here in the first 15 minutes. Nikiforenko popping up here, there, and everywhere, and there he is, as you predicted, Steve, as you predicted, with
Again, again.
thanks, Steve, says Tato in the chat. Important, important to get your players talked up. Ian, if you have any of your players that you like Steve to say a couple of words about, then then do
Okay.
feel free
I think
to
we're
provide
going
some.
at we're going at a good pace. But wait till I'm gonna wax lyrical about every single one of my 11, and still get battered 4-0. So
Oh, we'll see. And even in our first half, just Nikiforenko's goal separating them again. A disparity of the of the distribution of the headers. Ian Edwards is as is at halftime. Good numbers for Badgers here at halftime, and good conditions. I don't think Tato will do anything. We'll give him the chance. And Ian is going as changed. You've got a bunch of sixes, Ian, and an 8 for Sol Campbell. Assists for now look decent. That it certainly did.
mm,
We'll kick off the second half and play the first 15. See what happens. A quick offside call there was the first action of the second half. Yellow card for Vieira was the only other thing that happened. A couple of chances for Northern Burn. They're looking a little bit more dangerous. Casillas with a good save. Nikiforenko, I mean, you can't keep a good man down, can you? That's 2 for Nikiforenko on the night. Ian, I'll let you have a look at this and see if
oof.
you want to. I mean, it's not looking particularly great. It's all new faces. They're gonna take a wee bit of time to sort of gel and get together, but it's not looking
Yeah.
fantastic, is it? Six is
I
across
mean,
the board.
I don't think I've seen 9 6s at 60 minutes in a game for ever. To be fair,
For a while, and certainly not
which
from Northern Burn.
yeah, well, exactly. So I should imagine it won't give Ian too much to worry about because he knows that team, them players are far better than this. So
Yeah, they will.
if
They
this
will.
were if this were game 23 and they're fighting to get in six or fighting for getting top two, as we know that's normally your pot of call for being in with a chance of being in title, fair enough. But game week 2, not so much to worry about. Like I say, he's a big up people at squad, and again, Ian's always fine.
He's got making a couple of changes here. Koritko coming on, and Morientes for Emerton and for Inzaghi,
Mm.
maybe just to give him a bit of a run and see what they can do. I guess Badgers. I mean, I'll give him a chance, obviously, to pull Rossini if he wants for Amoroso. Tato, if you want to make any changes fitness wise, you're good. Match ratings are looking like this. I mean, Nikiforenko, we spoke about him. Tato mentioned he has got a bunch of um, contributions last season, and he'll be very happy with that. And he's going to do what you do, I think. Mendieta Simeone kind of job. Let's see. Simeone comes off. He's on an 8. Rayad comes on. Swaps with Mendieta. Rossini off for Amoroso. Oh, that was actually live.
Oh.
We don't want to do that. There we go.
Ah,
You think Rayad's going to come on and do something?
I like Rayad on an home save, and he's done bits and bats. Tato's put faith in him in the league. I think he needs a run to develop properly with him being so young when it starts. Um, I think there's a place for him though in the league for definite.
hmm hmm There's something to be said for that, actually. I mean, I never paid too much attention to it, but apparently it's really important for the development of the stats of the younger players that they actually get games. But we'll see what Rayad can do if he keeps with him or if he's bringing someone in to take that role. 30 minutes left of this game, and we'll see if Northern Burn can find a way back into it. Morientes was up there a couple of times already. We've seen his name. Riquelme is there as well. Iker Casillas with a save, but it's back to attacking for Northern Burn. But here come Ryan Giggs into Nikiforenko. Could have been a hat trick for him there, but it wasn't to be. Instead, Northern Burn have a couple of chances here. I think Ian will be happy with how they've responded, whether they get a goal or not here towards the end. They've certainly had a lot more of the play. Kuehl coming forward as well, with a chance there. Um, Big header for Sol Campbell. Nikiforenko, no hat trick for Nikiforenko. Good response from Northern Burn. They'll feel a little bit hard done by when you look at the numbers there. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, you're playing against three of the best DMCs in the league, so creating's all well and good. How many of them on target were from distance? But the fact that Sol Campbell has done that shows that even though that the Burn stats in terms of chances were better than the Badgers, they've been under a lot of pressure, and he's mopped a lot up as well. Um, but yeah, he'll roll. He might tweak a couple of players, but he knows he'll be all right as well.
I think so too. And he's had two away games. I think it was away in the other one as well, wasn't he, against Stackington? So we'll see. We'll see when they get a couple of home games. Maybe Dede will stop being unhappy. I mean, Lee Young is doing well, but I would say Dede is probably slightly a better player. But we'll see what happens. NDI on a 6 and a yellow card. That's unexpected as well. Tato on the other hand will be delighted. Rayad came in and did a bit. Nikiforenko, unsurprisingly, man of the match. Marcel Desailly with a 9, Klumber with a 9, Davids with an 8. You mentioned this earlier in the Haggis game. If you've got this amount of 8s and 9s and 2 goals from one of your players and all of this, then you're going to come away with something, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. And he'll be happy after that bit of what Taylor was saying as a blip last week. They're back on the horse, and he knows that he can still put faith in what he's got. Toldo though, obviously keeping a fair bit out as well, which
Yeah,
is
good,
massive for him. In
good to
fairness,
see. 35 to go, Tato. Is that what you say? Are you going to tweet later? I guess your points countdown. Reigning champions with 3 points on the board. Good night's work for them. Vikings against Dudley Hill. Paul, if you're still around, you're probably the first person to join, and and maybe the now you're the last person on the show.
yeah,
You should have known when there is co-coms, then we leave that until the end. So I'll let you have a look. If Paul is still around, then of course he's free
yeah.
to contribute.
So
What do you make of the Vikings? Couple of deals done. Oh, he is still here. We're not canceling any Simeone deal. Oh, he's looking forward to that. Yeah,
yeah. No,
he's
I made
not
a
he's
I made a
he's
bit
not
of a
done. He's not done. Sorry, I was just going to say he's not done. You mentioned that a lot of new managers come in and they do a bunch of deals and they bring in players that they like and they maybe aren't really that good. I think Paul has kind of limited himself in terms of like doing a bunch of deals, and he's actually sticking with. I mean, he's actually put Cafu in now instead of whoever he was playing last week. Um, so apart from the Palermo robbery for Brosek, he's kind of stuck to a good solid side, hasn't he?
yeah, and I'd probably say, if I'm being totally honest, if Ian were to play Brozek up front and Paul were to play Palermo up front, I don't think at this point in Brozek's development would you get dissimilar out of him. Maybe not. No, I made a joking comment which I got some messages about earlier, about some home truths being told. It was basically because me and Paul have been messaging for a long time since he's been watching league and this that and other, and he were making jokes when I told him that before you go to it, my tactic were more attacking than it looks. And he said, "Well, Martin's giving me some leeway. I might go change mine." I said, "Well, you'll be full of hellfire, hellfire and brimstone if you do. It's ungentlemanly conduct in this week." We had a good laugh. He's a good lad. So that the own truths were just me outing him
Uh,
as which you were never going to do. You were never going to do by way, but it was just funny. But no, why wouldn't you? You've got a core of a team that finished first. I don't think anybody's coming to the league on taking over a team that were on that run of form. Um, and I think they're in with a chance of doing really well. It's just somebody who maybe not as experienced on the game as most of us. It's that time when it gets a bit tough if you start changing it, which is what I don't know. It's up in the air, but it's basically the tactic in terms of the setup that Jens were playing, and no, Amargo is done something. I think as we've seen tonight, Foss Road anyway are going to be a
Mhm.
force to be reckoned with. So
Sure,
you can't take
sure.
any more out of that. And when they beat us 3-0, I'm sure he'll be doing more press conferences like he did from his bar stool.
Well, we'll see, but indeed, I mean, the kind of the real test is if things don't go particularly well, and you then have to say that you adjust, and then you don't really know what you can do in the Super League that will actually give you, a positive outcome. That's when you really need to start earning your kind of money, if if he can not get away with it, because of course if there's a good tactic and a good core of players, you just keep it going and do your best. Yeah, so if it just plots along with this and everything goes well, then happy days, no one's gonna bat an eyelid. But 3-4 defeats or something like that, and he starts to change things, then maybe that's when the pressure starts to show. But we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll get cracking with the last game of the evening. It was Patton Soklu that was playing right back instead of Cafu. I still,
it was bad still, yeah.
but anyway, um, the Dudley Hill lads, Rustico, I think is on his way out, isn't he?
Yeah, and Constantino as well for
No
Shevchenko.
Constantino. Uh-huh,
Um,
uh-huh.
but yeah, the tactic I started with, I, I could have gone with wingers here. I didn't want to conform to what everybody's playing, and it meant me playing Volodenkov on left and Dyer on right wing. And Dyer's far better where he is. So I just thought, let's just try some. I've played 5 DMs once in this league,
Mhm,
and it were a couple of seasons back. It was Dudley Ilby, so before that little interim where I were White Rose and they were doing really well. And
mhm,
I
mhm,
played it with a centre midfielder, an AMC, and one up top. And I beat them 1-0. And I think I had 2 shots with one on target and the battered us. It wasn't nowhere near as forefront as this. So I just thought, you know what? It's I don't want to be Paul's first scalp, so I'm going to try negate it, but with the arrows, try and make sure I can try and create a bit of something as well. But like Ian said, I've tested it a bit for 8 or 9 games, and David Collins has been quite at the forefront for a little bit of it. I tested him in the old saves and putting a bit of faith in him because a bit like centre midfield, AMC's a horrible position to try and get something out of somebody.
mhm,
So I just thought, you know what, why not go to Alf? I would try and for him for a little bit for Alf,
mhm.
and then just give him a go. It's one of them, and yeah, we'll see where this
I mean,
what's
he's
set the
been a
arrows
little
off.
bit. He's kind of like in that kind of Carlos Jacques kind of bucket of players who've come into the Super League and occasionally done numbers and occasionally done nothing. Yeah, if you can get something out of him, then yeah, for sure. I mean, we're not talking about like season 1 to 4, Tomadera top scorer and the captain sweps and people like that, doing numbers. But Collins probably can do it, and I think you're right. I think that is his role, the AMC with the forward arrow. If you ever sign him for whatever in your home saves, lower league clubs or whatever, that's his best position, I think, where he gets the most goals out of gets the most goals from. So maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. And the 5 DM line, I mean, it's kind of like not a legend in the Super League, but we have seen it a couple of times. I think Haggis played it once or twice. Panathinaikos, Joe Palmer put it once or
Yeah,
twice with Jagatos and another guy on the right hand side. At some point, I think they crossed the arrows as well, but that's a different story. But yeah, 5 DMCs has definitely been done before by several managers and can definitely work. So is that what you're hoping for? Sort of a solid defensive display, hitting them on the counter and sneaking
yeah.
a 1-0. Is that what we're looking at
I'd
for
be happy
Dudley
with
Hill
one.
tonight?
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for.
Well, all the best, Steve, and all the best to you,
Thank
Paul,
you.
as well. Of course, no favoritism here, and we'll kick off and see how it goes. First half. Vikings, second game of the season, looking for a win um, with the side that he inherited from Jens. He's got problems already. You'll be delighted to see the back of Emerson, and you'll probably be even more delighted when you see the lack of central midfielders on his bench. We'll
Mm.
see what. Uh, We'll see what Jens. We'll see what Paul comes up with here. A bit of a tricky one with Arca, Evan Nielsen, and Martin Palermo. Your options on the bench. Paul,
Yeah.
sounds almost as if you're enjoying this.
No, I'm not. But I noticed a DML, a DMR, and a striker before, and I didn't really want to say anything because he's picking players. Obviously, he likes for his bench. Yeah, interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, you could, I think, you could argue for putting Arca on and moving Bauma in, maybe. I don't think he's the worst in a more central position, even though he is a natural winger. But we'll see what Paul says to this. Seems to be pondering it a bit here. Um, Arca on, forward arrows on him and Aymar. Okay, so I'm gonna do Arca
Yeah,
on,
he's going for it.
forward arrow on him and Aymar. So we're leaving Arca in here, I guess. I mean, he is
I mean,
AML, so I guess it doesn't matter if you have Bauma. I'm just thinking because he has the Naya anyway. If he wants him like this,
ah,
then that's fine. We'll do like this, and then we'll roll till half time. And forward arrows on him and Aymar. I hope I had that right because Aymar had forward, but I guess you mean like straightforward then. So anyway, we'll roll till half time with this, and we can change it back. Um, so that's three AMCs up against your five DMCs when with the arrows. Oh, and there is Ima opening the scoring at halftime. Sorry about that, Steve. Bit of a sucker punch
no,
there. Uh, I'll let Paul have a quick look first. Here are your sixes and sevens, and here are your conditions. You can let me know if there's anything you want to do. In the meantime, Dudley Hill, um, everything went to plan until the 45th minute, I guess.
yeah, it's. Can I just pull Adam and Van Bommel up to see him with no arrows, please, mate, and just run with that for now?
Run till 60. Almost as if there is a disconnect between the defense and the forward, says Mike Savage in the chat. Being a bit cheeky there,
Yeah,
Mike. I mean, Ado
yeah.
Van Bommel is definitely, he has central midfielder stats like fucking all over the place, if I remember rightly.
It
So,
does. So
so
yeah, so Adam and Van Bommel up to CM, please, mate. No arrows, and we'll roll with that.
we'll roll with that. Okay. Right. And Paul, if you want to do anything, then please let us know. Otherwise, we just roll. I give it another 5 seconds or so, and we'll see what we can do at 60 if it comes to that. Okay, on 4 hours on him and I. Oh, okay, that was from earlier. I was just checking. We'll have a look at the match stats in the meantime. He says as is. Naya headers. Maybe we won't dwell too much on that. Not a lot of chances in it. We'll see if moving the two DMCs up to MC will make a change for you, Steve. 15 minutes coming up. 7 of them went past very, very quickly. There was definitely a lot more action from Collins, and they jumped 20 minutes there in the blink of an eye. So we've only got 20 minutes left. Apologies for that. Let's have a look at the condition here. Everything is looking kind of okay. Match ratings are as they are. Evan Nielsen and Palermo on the bench. Paul, if you want to do anything. Steve, over to you. Luca Toni's not having the best of times. Apart from that, it looked good after the break. You certainly came forward a bit more.
So, yeah, we'll have Cypriot Waiter on for him, please, mate.
Right.
And can I have Ursi for Ado and a little arrow up to Collins?
Like that.
Diagonal, please, mate. Sorry.
Up to Collins. Okay, sorry. Yeah, got that. All good.
I'll do.
That one. And Viking says Esteberia for Martin, which I guess is Martin Palermo. That's it. We'll see if he wants to do anything else. One more sub left. Evan Nielsen. Can I have a longer look, please? Yeah, indeed.
Well, you might,
You can. You can have
might
as
as well
long
put
as.
him on for one back. So
Of course, you can have a longer look, Paul. Indeed. Yeah, you might put Evan Nielsen on over on the right hand side for Kapu. Oh, he's got Patsatoglu. I guess Patsatoglu's more of a central player than a wing back in my book, anyway. Um, but we'll see if he wants to do anything to the rest.
It's depressing to know I'm going to lose a game with Arca at centre midfield and Palermo at AMC.
Well, we did have Ebis Sand at AMC earlier in the evening, so but we'll see. 20 minutes left. You can still find your way back into that. The Cypriot waiter has done it before. He might do it again. He is coming on. There's Dyer to Collins. Couldn't find it. Ooh, Van Bommel with a free kick. Maybe not where you expected the goal to come from, but you got it. So I guess that's it.
Well,
Flew past the last 5 minutes.
well,
What do you make of that comeback? It was a relief to get the point, I guess.
I mean, it was, but obviously, I think they were in that position at half time or whenever they got the goal. We obviously put a bit of pressure on, but yeah, again, 2 draws away from home. Away points are precious in this league, and we rolled to hopefully an home game next time out.
Well, we'll have a quick look in a minute. So solid defensive display,
Yeah.
mostly for the Vikings there. Paredes with an 8. Attacking, there's maybe a little bit of tweaking to do. Probably not great for them to have Emerson coming off and having to play Arca in there. He did get a 6, so not the best. But I'm sure that that Paul will have some fixing to do and getting some more suitable players into that position for the next round. Looking at your side, Solchinski did very well. Roberto Carlos did well. I mean, I guess overall they went they went pretty
Mm.
well. David Collins didn't get a goal, but Captain Van Bommel stepped up. I think maybe with a direct free kick even, and grabbed you the equalizer. Anything specific that you want to take away from this one in terms of maybe?
I mean, Collins were an 8, I think, when we made the changes. Sorochinsky, obviously, he on his own is better. But why? How's he got man a match ahead of Montero there? If I'm honest, that's phenomenal. Phenomenal is that? There's
Oh, that's
something.
because he had 11 interceptions apparently, which
Oh,
is also good.
right.
So
I mean,
that's it.
them tackling stats there, unbelievable.
I mean, Montero is. I mean, I understand the logic behind selling players, but Montero is a tricky one for me. I rate him very highly. So in real
Top
life as
draw.
well as on the game. So it was a bit surprising to see. Scott Sadler's made it just in time for the for the results. Evening, Scott. Good to see you around. So that kind of rounds up the action. We had one high scoring game. It was the opener anyway. Colchester against Foss Road, 2-3. Northern Burn lost. Again, they were on the road. East Coast on the road. Lost to Haggis, a very impressive Haggis side. A couple of draws there for Los Santos, Stackenton. It was against Duggins, Sancte, and Exiles, respectively. Stanley with a 1-0 late winner against Sloths, and your own 1-1 game with Vikings. Leaves the table looking like this. Foss Road, only team with maximum points. That was quick. That everyone else dropped off, or that we went down to one team, and everyone's got a point. So no one sitting with a big egg on the right hand side there, waiting for that. Everyone has scored a goal. Everyone apart from Stanley has conceded. So yeah, only team not to concede indeed is East Coast Stanley with 1-0 as a for and against. Not too much to speak about at this point of the season already. We'll have a quick look at the fixtures before we close out for the evening. You've got a home game, but it's against Haggis, so it's kind of good and then not really that good, I guess.
Yeah. Keep trying. But yeah, we'll go and we'll finish on. We'll go into his 4th game of the season on 2 points and then try and make a play for the playoffs.
And we've got, of course, Stanley putting their clean sheet record really to the test against Foss Road and Crespo. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. As mentioned, for those of you still around, I'll send out a note as well. The plan is to run the show on Sunday night, normal time, 9 o'clock. Good old Super League style, and then we'll see when the next shows are are going to be presumably Thursdays mainly, but I'll make sure there's a good calendar up for you guys. Obviously, with the summer coming up and all of this, I'll try and squeeze in as much as possible. But it'll probably be a game a week, roughly. And then I've got some moving and stuff to do. So, but we'll try and get as many games in as possible. Um, that's pretty much it. Steve, any last words from yourself?
No, just thank you, mate, for obviously we know it's not going to be as fast and furious as it has been, but thank you for taking the mantle on and doing what you're doing.
No
Um,
worries.
Obviously, it's it, I love League. I'll be until it properly, if it ever dies a death. If it does die a death, I'll be there with it dying. If it never dies a death, I'll die before it does. So that's
Well, I've probably got about 10 years on you, so you're gonna have to find someone else to carry it on, carry it on at
but
some
no,
point.
no, I
No,
appreciate that, man. And cheers to everybody and new guys, especially like Paul as well, getting to grips with it. Fair play to him for his result tonight. Again, I didn't expect much, to be fair, as much as I was joking with him. And yes, some interesting fixtures out, and see you all Sunday, boys.
excellent. Thanks very much for your time, Steve. Of course, if
You
anyone
too, mate.
is interested on Sunday, I think I've had an offer or two already anyway, but if anyone's interested on co-comps on Sunday, please feel free to give me a shout. Packs will be out later this evening. Yeah, so that's it. Speak to you again soon. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
Now, lads.